everybody, how's it going today? Justin, the Red Island Shaver, coming back at you with another edition of Outside the Den. This week, it's going to be a brief introduction to brushes. We have a cup of coffee on the go, as usual. And let's get stuck in. So, this is the second attempt at this video. Not that you guys would know, but I'm going to tell you anyway, because I muffed up some stuff in the first one. Forgot to say what I wanted to say. I get that way sometimes. So, what is a shaving brush? Well, shaving brush has basically two functions. It lathers up your soap or your cream, and it applies it to your face while exfoliating your skin and lifting your beard hairs in preparation for the shave, which is very important. It helps achieve a better shave in the long run. So, let's take a look at some of the brushes. So here is a boar brush. Actually, we have two of them. Two completely different ends of the spectrum. This is a smaller boar knot. This is a bigger boar knot. This one is available at Shoppers Drug Mart in Canada for about 15 bucks. An all-around good little brush. This one a little bit more. I think it's around $30 at Fenderhan. And it's also a great brush. The thing about boars, they tend to be a little bit stiffer and a little bit scritchier on the face than anything else. And for those of you that don't know what scritch is, basically scritch is just the scratchy feeling you feel when you are lathering. Okay? Some people don't like a whole lot of scritch. I know I don't. That being said, as you break these in, they do tend to get softer. Some will retain a fair bit of scritch, but I find these omega knots are generally pretty soft once they're broken in. And basically all you do to break in a brush is you just lather it a bunch in a bowl, and then take a towel, hold the towel in your hand, put the brush into the towel with a little bit of pressure, and vigorously dry it. What that will do, it will split the tips, just like split ends on your hair. You're splitting the ends on the brush, and it will make it softer. But the boars do tend to be a little bit scritchier on the face, and they do tend to be lather hogs, which means they end up soaking up a lot of the lather that gets down into the knot, down in here, and it won't really release it to the bristles, and then the lather ends up not being fully made, fully hydrated, and then it will dissipate in the brush. So that's one thing to consider if you're looking at buying a boar brush. And we have horse. I only have one horsehair. This one is made by Alvado. This is a V-long knot. They pretty much specialize in horsehair brushes. Horse is typically known to be scritchy, but this one, however, is a very soft brush. It's a great face latherer and an all-around great little brush. It wasn't too funky when I got it, and it defunkified pretty quick. So I'm trying to say, and just an all-around good little brush. Horse is, I think it's becoming a little bit more popular in some circles for sure. This is definitely one that I will keep. Then we get into Badger. I only brought one Badger down because there's only one Badger brush I really use. I have 3 at the moment, but 2 of them are kind of meh. This one is the best Badger that I have. Badgers tend to be a little softer than boar. Some can be scritchy, but most are fairly soft. This one has a nice amount of splay. It splays easily, but has enough backbone for face lathering. So basically, you need to decide what kind of lathering you want to do. If you want to do bowl lathering, you can get away with a really floppy brush, because then all you're going to do is just paint it onto your face anyway. If you're into face lathering, you want something with a little bit more backbone, not quite as much give, so when it goes onto the face, there's a little bit of resistance there to work with the lather. The big thing about Badgers is when you first get a brand new Badger brush, chances are it's going to stink to high heaven. Now, there's nothing wrong with your brush. That's just the nature of the beast, because, well, this is a Badger, right? It's Badger hair. Excuse me. So what you need to do, you need to take a brush, and you shampoo it a few times. Use your wife's shampoo, something gentle. Do not use any shampoos, any dyes, or anything like that, or don't use body wash, like something that's really heavily scented but that may be dyed. Do not use that in your natural hairbrush, for the love of God. Just use a nice gentle shampoo it a bunch, and then grab some of your favorite soaps, particularly some heavily scented soaps. Whip up a lather in a bowl, and then just leave the brush sitting in the bowl for a few hours. Take it out, rinse it out, lather it up again, and then in between lathers, take your towel, your brush, and dry it. You don't want to be too rough, but you want to get enough pressure on there to get the knot to splay out like that while you're drying it. That will help split the ends, give you the nice softness that the badger is known for. And if there's any loose hairs in the knot, chances are that's when they will come out. You will see them popping up. You can just pluck them out and get rid of it. And you may need to repeat this process probably about a half dozen times to really get most of the funk out. But once you get the funk out, a badger brush is very, very nice indeed. And they can vary in price from $30 all the way up to $800. It really depends on you. So the next session, I'm losing my mind. The next set of brushes are becoming increasingly popular, and that is synthetic. So here's a little 20 mil synthetic that I have. This one's great for little tubs, like the little 2-ounce size tubs of soaps, because this fits right in there. Lather it up without getting lather and suds everywhere. And synthetics are, well, obviously there's synthetic, so they're artificial hairs. So if you are a vegan, or you're not into the whole of using animals for cosmetics or for shaving implements, then synthetic will definitely be the way to go. These are all man-made, no animals are involved in this whatsoever. And then you can go through the various knots. Here's my latherizer, a semi-custom brush. I won this in a raffle. This was made by a custom brush maker though. This has a big 28 mil knot, a lot of splay, but still firm enough in the backbone to face lather. Because I am a face latherer, so I don't like a big floppy brush. I like something that has a little bit of give. And that little bit of give is what gives you the pressure needed to make a nice face lather, but not too much pressure that it's really scratchy on the skin. Gorgeous brush, and this holds a ton of lather, but since it's a synthetic, it seems to release it very easily. All the lather seems to sit down here in the tips, and then right down to the middle part of the brush, and as soon as you put it on the face, it applies to your face. And then we have the tuxedo style knot. A lot of you guys have seen these. They are the black with the white, hence the tuxedo. These ones have a little bit more scritch than something like this, which is a plisson or plissoft style knot. So this is super soft on the face. This has just a tiny bit more scritch. It's still very soft. It just has a little bit more of the scrub, I guess I want to say. But this also splays out quite nice. This was custom ordered by me and set to my specifications. Just turn my hand the right way. Set to my specifications for face lathering. So this loft is ideal to give you enough backbone to splay out easily, but it's not so stiff that you can't do anything with it, and it's not so floppy that as soon as you put it on your face, it's going to do nothing for you. So there's a lot to consider when you get into wet shaving, when it comes down to brushes, what knot you want, what you want to do with it. I think a lot of people start out ball lathering, and then they proceed to go to face lathering, especially if you end up running a YouTube channel. Most of us end up going to face lathering because I guess for some reason it makes for better videos. People can see the soap being worked, and which I think is great, especially if you're watching something like Another Cut Above with Chris. I mean, I think he probably is one of the best in the hobby as far as making lathers go. And he likes the synthetics now, I think. He's got a couple badgers, but I think he's really leaning toward the synthetics, because one thing about the synthetics is they really make a consistent lather, time in and time out. And if you go with a badger brush or a boar brush, what you want to do before you shave, you put it in a bowl. You don't want to fill the whole thing. You don't want to submerge it completely if you can get away with it. You don't want a whole bunch of hot water getting into where the glue and the epoxy are. just want to get your knot down in the water and you let it soak while you're having a shower or getting everything ready for your shave. And this will soften up the bristles, and then give it a few shakes, get all the water out of it, and then proceed to load. With a synthetic, any one of these, you don't need to soak them. You can just dip it into your bowl, give it a shake, and away you go. Because they're synthetic, they don't suck up water, they don't hold on to water. Just get them wet, release it, and lather. So these do make for really good travel brushes. I like to soak mine, even though I don't need to, because I like to get everything nice and warm. Just makes for a warmer lather once the whole knot is warmed up. But you do not need to soak these. Like I said, they're just more consistent. With the badgers and the boars, especially the different grades of badger hair, because there's different grades of hair, then it may take a little bit more guesswork in regards to making your lathers. But that's basically it. That's just the brief introduction to brushes. There's way more knowledge that goes way more in depth than I have the time or even the expertise to talk about. This is another one of the things where I would strongly recommend, watching some videos or getting involved in the Facebook groups, because there's people in there, especially brush makers, with tons of information and are more than willing to help you figure out what you would want for your own preference, and then you can make an informed decision and make the best purchases based on what you want out of it. For me, I think I'm going to lean more towards the synthetics from here on in. That's just my personal choice. Unless, a really, really nice badger catches my eye, and I'll probably buy that. But anyway, that's all I have for today, guys. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Leave a comment below. I always like interacting with you guys, and I hope to see you on the weekend for the weekend shave. Not quite sure yet what I'm going to use. I have to wait and see. I'll have to take a trip through the den and see what kind of piques my interest as the weekend comes up. Anyway, guys, that's it for this episode of Outside the Den. As always, have a great day and an even better shave, and we'll catch you on the weekend. Bye.